Okay. Hi, everybody, and good evening. And thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Monina Evangelista. I am a financial planner. And as some of you may know already, we conduct live sessions like this as we discuss about all the different aspects of financial planning. And tonight's topic is going to be focusing specifically on education planning, which is a very timely topic, of course, because some of us parents have just sent our children to the new normal academic calendar 2020-2021. No? So we just started our school year, and for those parents out there who have yet to send their children to school dahil maliliit pa yung mga anak nyo, this this discussion is perfect for you because tonight we are going to show you a smart approach to education planning. Okay, so let me just share my screen again so that we can start off with the discussion. Okay. So let me just share with you first what are our discussion points for tonight. So normally when I do have a live session like this, we are using Zoom right now. So some of our participants are in Zoom, and most of you are actually watching on Facebook Live. So we are airing live on Facebook via our Usapang Money na Facebook page. Okay, so just drop your questions out there as we progress. Okay, so anyway, tonight's objectives are, of course, the following. So first, I'm going to provide a step-by-step financial plan for your child's education needs. No? So, hindi mo na kailangang mag-isip. You don't have to think of how you can strategize on how to achieve your desired educational fund for your child. Because today, I am going to show you a step-by-step way on how you can do that, how you can achieve that. No? And of course, I'm going to equip you with the correct approach. So may mga options ako that I'm going to present on how you would be able to achieve this, how to change your mindset about this, and how to choose the correct approach to that. Okay, and then of course we are going to learn how to build education funds, exactly how much you need in the future, and how much you need to prepare for that as we progress through our lives. Okay, and of course I'm going to show you how you can dramatically save on education funds. So it is not a secret that education is very expensive, and so with tonight's session you are going to discover that you actually can save a lot of money with your child's education. Okay, so as I've said, it is a very timely topic, but before I proceed with the discussion, I just would like to share with you this photo. That is me and my three kids. So this was just taken last week because we celebrated my children's graduation. No, this one is my eldest Koi. He just earned his Bachelor of Science degree in entrepreneurship. My second child, Miguel, just finished his senior high school education, and my youngest, Aya Marie, just graduated from junior high school. Okay, so all three of them are from UST, and of course, the younger two will be continuing on with their education still with UST, starting the start of the semester is next week. So they are still there and continuing on with their education. Okay, so why am I sharing this? This is because I would want to emphasize, that for us parents, especially for us Filipinos, education is something that is very, very important for us. It is one of our top priorities for our children. No, and like my kids, I've sent them to UST because I myself is a Tomasian. I graduated from UST with a degree in electronics and communications engineering, and so even before back then, I already knew that I wanted to send my children to UST. And yun naman, nagkatotoo naman. Okay? So anyway, I'm sure that a lot of you parents share the same desire as I have just mentioned. Those of you who probably graduated from the Ateneo, from UP, from LaSalle, you also have that desire to somewhat send your children to these schools in the future. Tama? And so because of that, we really want to make sure that you are financially equipped so that you would be able to send them to your alma mater. And actually, there are some parents who, of course, want to provide better education for their children as compared to what they have had in the past. So, in fact, let me give you an example. I do have clients who attended her or their high school in a public school way back then, but they are sending their children now to Poveda, to International School Manila or British School of Manila, you know. And I also have clients who are taking it one step further as they are sending their children to universities outside of the Philippines. So I have clients whose children are enrolled in the National University of Singapore, University of Toronto, and all the other similar universities outside of the Philippines. No? So what am I driving at, no? Talagang we parents would want to give the best education that we can possibly afford, no? I think walang kokontra sa akin pagdating ng point na 'yan, 'di ba? And so that is why I would like to emphasize how important, no, this discussion is for everyone tonight. And apart from that, let me just share my screen again. I want to use this quote, which I got from a book that I'm reading right now. And the book is called The Eight Secrets of Successful Parenting by CCF leaders Peter and Leona Tanchi. And they said that God has entrusted our children to us. He holds us accountable for how we raise them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for us to make sure that our children is given the best education that we can possibly give them. No? Hindi naman tayo binigla ni Lord eh. No? We are given like, I mean, syempre pag nanganak ka, you have like 17 years, 16 years to prepare for their college education. So, hindi siya bigla, no? We have ample time to prepare. The Lord has also given us a lot of our resources, all of the resources that we need to prepare our children for the education that they deserve. So it is not acceptable that when the time comes that your children are 16, 17, you will tell them that you cannot send them to school because you don't have the money for it. I don't think that is very responsible parenting. So, kaya ngayon, let us start your financial plan for that. Okay? So, let me just emphasize, however, that tonight's discussion is not limited to kung yung mga examples na sinabi ko kanina ng mga big schools and the best schools in the country. Regardless of where you want to send your children in the future, regardless of what school, regardless of how much you are willing to spend or you want to spend every year for their education, this session is for you because the process is the same. The step-by-step financial planning procedure is the same. The approach is the same. So maski na ang budget mo is 50,000 a year for your child or 500,000 a year or 2 million pesos per year, it doesn't matter. The procedure is the same. The approach is the same. And what you are going to discover now will give you a great advantage against all those who are not watching this video. Okay? So anyway, let's move on to our financial planning proper. Okay, let me just share my screen again. This session is just going to be an hour. So I, of course, want to maximize our time and want to make full use of our time. All right? So anyway, today, not only am I going to give you these procedures, but I'm going to show you how it is to have a financial plan that is full future-proof. So, anong ibig kong sabihin yan? May isa pa akong kwento. About 2 months ago, no, when we were starting to enroll my kids into, my other son is starting college and my daughter is starting senior high school, right? So we are doing the online enrollment, online orientation, etc., etc. So, meron kaming conversation at kwentuhan na ang sabi nung daughter ko, sabi niya, Mama, the class size now is smaller in UST. Some of the sections, which the usual class size is around 40, now it's down to 20 or 30. No? And in fact, my son added to that, saying that, in fact, in their department, there are less sections as compared to last year. So what does that tell us? So sabi ko nga, tatlong reasons yung naiisip ko dyan. Reason number one, probably some of the parents decided not to enroll their kids because they are not in favor of the online schooling that we are having right now, or the homeschooling that we are into. So probably that is one reason. Another reason that I can think of is probably the parents do not have enough money to send their kids to the same school as what they have attended last school year, because obviously because of the pandemic, a lot of us lost our jobs or closed our business, and so there is an economic depression really. And my third reason probably that I thought of is that they totally do not have enough money to enroll their children at all. So some of these kids probably transferred from to another school or transferred to the public sector, which actually was validated by Mayor Isko Moreno. I think this was about middle of July when Mayor Isko announced to everybody that they have reached and exceeded their target for the public school enrollment for this year. So, with that being said, sa tingin ko, ganun na nga ang nangyari. Yung iba, lumilipat ng public school because they cannot afford to send their children to the schools that they originally attended. No? So, anyway, what does a future-proof educational plan mean? So, ibig sabihin ko lang dito, yung ituturo ko po sa inyo ngayon, the procedure that I'm going to share with you now is going to give you that assurance, no, somewhat, that in the future, whatever happens, even if the same kind of black swan market that we are experiencing right now would happen again in the future, or if something like this, happens again, an economic breakdown, or something happens to you, you are somewhat assured that your child is going to have an educational fund that he can depend on. Okay, so that is what a future-proof education plan means. Okay, so all this systemic or external risk would be not so much, experienced because you have planned it well. And again, this is your advantage over all the other people who are not going to do their education planning. Okay? So, let us move on with our step-by-step procedure. So every time that I do a financial planning with a client, whether it is for a retirement goal or an education goal or a purchase of a house goal or whatever, tax management, whatever, no, I always start with a goal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important that you start your financial plan with a goal, because the plan will be more systematic, it's going to be more attainable, it's going to be more realistic if you set a proper goal. Now, there is a difference between just simply saying a goal and doing a smart or setting a smart goal. And this is what we always tell our clients. Your goals should be smart. Okay? So, and what does a SMART goal mean? Okay, ito na. Isa-isahin natin yung acronym na yan. Letter S. It has to be specific. When you set up a goal, you have to be as specific as possible. Yes, you want to send your child to college, and you want to set up a financial plan for that. Miss Molina, can we create a financial plan for my son? I want to prepare him for college. Okay, that's good. But can you be a little bit more specific? Do you have an idea where you want to send your child to school to? No? Do you have an idea what kind of a career your child would want? Or if he cannot, or he or she cannot decide yet, what is the career that you want him to ideally take? Although, of course, we should let them decide. Huh? So, that's what I mean. You have to be specific. Saan mo gustong i-enroll? Ano ang kailangan mo? Ano ba ang career na gusto mo para sa anak mo, and all these things. Ano ba ang mga ibang kailangan? So you have to be as specific as possible. Okay? Another characteristic of a SMART goal is that it should be measurable. No? When we say measurable, don't just tell me that I want to build up a financial fund for my child's education. Okay, how much is it going to be? Don't just say, oh, I want to raise 5 million. Why? What is your basis? O hindi, 500,000 ang gusto kong i-raise. Why? What is your basis for 500,000? So your goal should be measurable. We have to be specific, and the amount that you need to plan for should be measurable. Okay? And of course, it has to be attainable. Make it realistic, ladies and gentlemen. No? So, I mean, you can assess what is your limitation right now. Okay? So don't go beyond that if it is not something that you think you would not be able to afford. Or if you can afford to send your child to one of the best schools, one of the more expensive ones, then you can actually have a goal to build up your education fund around that, right? And of course, it should be relevant. And well, we don't have to discuss this further because education is as relevant as it can get. And of course, it should be time-based. And what does it mean, no? So it means every time that we set up a goal, we set or give ourselves a deadline. So how long do you want to prepare for this goal? Actually, it is easy to determine because if you have a 2-year-old son right now and you are planning for his college education, which will begin in about 15 years time, so you have like 15 years to prepare for that, right? So again, a smart goal should be time-based as well. So you have to prepare for it based on a specific deadline. Okay, now let us see. So that we all can appreciate how we can do a step-by-step financial planning, let us have a specific example. So I have here a client, and her name is Dr. Ellen. Dr. Ellen is a client of mine. She lives in Bulacan, and she's 32 years old. She is a single parent, and she has a son who is Jacob, who is 2 years old. Okay. Now, Dr. Ellen called me and she said that, Miss Munina, can we discuss and set up a financial plan for Jacob? Because I want him to go to UST also to take up a course in the science department. Because Dr. Ellen is from a family of doctors, and she is hoping that her son Jacob will also be inclined into taking up a career that is in the science field, and she prefers to send her son to UST. So this is the client, or this is the case that I needed to study. And so with this, we have to determine what would be the future cost of Jacob's education. Okay? So, number one, andyan na, meron ng idea si Dr. Ellen, no? Kung ano yung kanyang goal. Now, I'm going to help her make that goal measurable pa and attainable. So, what are the things? Okay, so those of you who are listening, no, you do this similarly. Okay, you ask yourself, what is your goal for your child, so that you can do the same procedure as we progress. All right. So, here are the aspects that I have discussed with Dr. Ellen. So I told her these are some of the expenses that we need to consider if you want to have an accurate financial plan for your child's college fund. So I have a question here. So bakit college lang? Why doesn't she want to prepare for junior high school and senior high school? That's a good point, no? Actually, every time that we do an education plan for our clients, we discuss that to them, okay? But for this specific client, Dr. Ellen actually, the parents of Dr. Ellen actually owns a school in Bulacan. And so she told me that more or less Jacob's primary and secondary education is somewhat okay na kasi doon na lang sa Bulacan mag-aaral. So anyway, going back to my example. So for a college fund, these are the things that we need to consider. Okay? So first, you have the school fees, of course. How much would the school charge? So Jacob is 2 years old. So magka-college siya 16 years from now ba? 15 years from now? How would Dr. Ellen know how much the school is going to charge, right? So I'm not going to burden my client with that assumption, because as a financial planner, that is my job, right? So For the school fees and all the other expenses that you need to consider, I will just ask my client to use present value. So sa UST, madali naman yan. Pwede kang tumawag sa registrar or just Google. You can check how much ang tuition fee per semester or per year pagka sa department or sa College of Science. Okay? And because Dr. Ellen is from Bulacan, I also discussed with her the possibility of getting a boarding house or a dormitory for her son, and how much is it going to cost? Again, using present value. How much would be the books or school supplies that you want to budget for that? How much allowance you want to prepare for your child's college education? And after his graduation, do you want to prepare for a graduation gift for Jacob? So these are just some of the things that I have discussed with Dr. Ellen. And after our discussion, we came up with the following values. Okay, so with UST, probably 150,000 per year for the College of Science. And boarding house would be roughly 100,000 per year. Again, around Sampaloc, Manila area. School supplies, ito, pwede namang higher or lower, depende sa kung ano yung preferred mo. So we just allocated 50,000 for that. And we allocated 100,000 allowance per year for her child. And of course, tinanong ko pa si Dr. Ellen, gusto mo bang bigyan ng graduation gift si Jacob after his graduation? And she said, sige, try natin. Let's give him 200,000. No? So anyway, all these values again are assumed using present value. So as her financial planner, I need to determine now how much is the future cost or the future value of this fees, no? So 150 for the school fees. Let me just use my calculator, no? 150 plus boarding house is 100,000, school supplies is 50,000, and allowance of 100,000. Okay, so which means that it is around 400,000 per school year. Kaya yung graduation gift later pa yon. So let me just show you now. Okay, can you see that now? All right, so in here, I have here my Excel file on education planning. So if you can see the blue shaded cells there, these are assumptions that Dr. Ellen and I agreed on. I presented to her some of the historical values of the tuition fee annual increase, and we agreed on using 6.5% for the annual increase, no? So ibig sabihin, mula ngayon hanggang pag nag-college na si Jacob, using 6.5 annual tuition fee increase, we would know how much it's going to cost. Okay? So let me just key in the names here. So this is for Dr. Ellen, and Jacob is 2 years old. So the child is 2 years old right now. And the start of Jacob's college education will be at 17. Tama. Pag 17 years old na si Jacob, doon siya magsa-start mag-schooling. So you see here that in 15 years time, no, Jacob will start his college education. And then, dahil ang Department of Science is a 4-year course, so matatapos siya ng age 21. No? So length of schooling in years is 4 years. Okay? So wala pa tayong lumalabas na values dito kung magkano nga ba ang kailangan niya. Now, I have designed this Excel file such that it's going to show you how much it will cost in the future. So we said a while ago that the annual cost would be around 400,000. So let me just key in the 400,000 there. 400,000 per year. So in fact, in the future, pagdating ng age 17 ni Jacob, yung 400,000 per year, because of inflation na ginamit natin dito, and the tuition fee annual increase average, you will actually need 1 million per school year by the time that Jacob starts schooling. Okay? So Dr. Ellen, yan ang kailangan natin, 1 million per year. Pero hindi naman natin ito times 4 lang yan. Kasi syempre, 1 million, pag first year na siya, Pag second year college na siya, it's going to, of course, increase because of inflation and the tuition fee increase, right? And so that's why our total education fund needed is 4.8 million. And this is based on the Excel file that I have formulated for ease of computation. But if you know how to do this, you can do the math, it's going to give you the same answer. Okay? So, I asked Dr. Ellen, meron ka na bang naitabi, Dr. Ellen, na amount or na save for the educational fund? Naku, Miss Monina, wala pa. Wala pa akong naipon, maski ano. So, zero po yan. Okay, and then earlier I asked Dr. Ellen if she wants to give a congratulatory gift for her son, and she said, sige, try natin 200,000. So, add lang natin yon for our total educational fund needed, which is 5.028 million. Okay, so we are now done with step number 2. So, dito na tayo sa step number 3. Papaano ko ba ma-achieve yan, Miss Monina? Dr. Ellen asked. Yun po ang aming role. Okay? So, I have 3 options for you. So, teka muna. Huwag niyo munang pansinin yan para hindi kayo magulumihanan. Okay. So, I have 3 options. Dr. Ellen, if you want to just save for that, you actually need to save how much for you to get 5 million after 15 years, di ba? Magse-save ka, kailangan mo makabuo ng 5 million after 15 years. O kaya naman, mag-i-invest ka, kailangan mo makabuo ng 5 million after 15 years. Or, wala ka nalang gagawin. Ay, walang kabuluhan tong pinagsasasabi ni Miss Monina. Ayokong gawin yung financial planning na yan. Okay, no problem po. Pagdating po ng college ni Jacob, magkano ba ang kailangan mong i-save or ma-spend every month para mabuno mo or ma-pull mo yung 5 million total fund. So, tingnan ngayon natin ang sagot. Okay. So, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, showing you based on my Excel file. If you are just going to save for it, Dr. Ellen, you'd need to start saving now, 27,900 per month. After 15 years, it will be 5 million. Okay? Or, if you intend to invest, you just need to invest 11,900 a month. And after 15 years, you already have a potential yield of 5 million. Take note, potential, investment. So, may kasamang risk yan. So, it can be higher than this. It can be lower than this. And, you know, investing is another topic and we cannot discuss that with you now, but I'm going to give you a brief later on. Okay? Now, if you do not believe in financial planning at ayaw mong pag-intindihin yan sa panahong ito at gusto mong mabigla ka na lang pagdating ng college, Dr. Ellen, you just need to spend 104,000 a month by the time that Jacob starts his college education. Okay? So, with this presented to Dr. Ellen, now I asked her, so what do you want to do now, Dr. Ellen? Sabi niya sa akin, you know, Miss Monina, you know that I believe in the concept of investing. That's why you're my financial planner because I have some investments that you have handled already, right? But right now, I really cannot afford 12,000 pesos every month to invest for Jacob's education. So what can we do? Okay, so we can just go to the drawing board, Dr. Ellen. So probably let us just forget about the gift first. Maybe you can, prepare for that later on in the future pag medyo malapit na. And the annual school fees, if you want, we can just, plan partially right now and then review our plan after a few years kapag specialista ka na or whatever, no, na you have a better financial standing, then we can revisit your financial plan for your child's education and then we can add into it. And then she said, well, that sounds like a good idea. So probably let us prepare for the tuition fee na muna. Yun ang sabi ni Dr. Ellen. Not a problem. So we can just prepare for the tuition fee muna. Sabi natin sa UST, you need about 150,000 for the tuition fee. And actually, when Jacob starts to attend college, it's going to be about 385,000 per year. using the same assumptions again. So, if the education fund that we need now is down to 1.8 million na lang, Dr. Ellen, then you just need to invest 4,300 pesos a month. Okay? And Dr. Ellen said, that's more like it. So, siguro we can start with that one muna. Okay? So, I hope if you have any question, just let me know. Or those of you listening on Facebook, just drop down a question there. Although, of course, the questions on Facebook are a little bit delayed. So, I will try to address your questions as soon as I can. Okay? So, again, if you know how to calculate for the future value, the present value, and the payments, you can just check on all these values, because I have already formulated this Excel file to yield all those values instantly, so that we can give you and demonstrate to you how much it would actually cost. Okay? I think we still have time for another example. So let us go back to my slideshow here. Okay, let us have another example. This time, I have another client, Bobby and Grace. Now, Bobby and Grace is a client of mine as well, and they are a businessman with an 8-year-old daughter. Jenny is 8 years old, and even before, actually, bago pa panganak si Jenny, nagpaplano na si Bobby and Grace to plan for the financial education of their child. So, Jenny already has a college, a financial plan for college. Okay? So, meron na silang ini-invest na money for the college plan. However, something like 5 years ago ba, yung nag-start nung K to 12, no? So, after that, Bobby and Grace realized that they needed another financial plan for Jenny, because they have not considered their senior high school, the senior high school plan for Jenny, no? And so I have helped them, and this is what we came up with. Okay? So ito naman, actually si Bobby and Grace, no? Nakakalimutan ko yung name because that's not their real name. Siyempre, I changed the name a little bit. So they actually have this desire to send their child to not so expensive school, but they believe in the quality of education in this school, and that's why the fees are much, much cheaper than that of our first example. So we have agreed on using a present value for senior high school of 60,000. And then for school supplies would be 30,000 per year, an allowance of 40,000 for Jenny. This is an annual allowance na. So parang 4,000 per month yan. So okay na yon, sabi ni Bobby and Grace. And Miss Monina, wag na natin pag-isipan yung graduation gift muna. I just want to know how much this would cost if we're going to start with another plan for that. Okay, so going back to my calculator here, so 60,000 for the school fees, 30,000 for school supplies, and 40,000 allowance. So we need to prepare for 130,000 for Jenny's senior high school education. Again, using present value. Okay? Okay, so again, ito yung kay Bobby and Grace, di ba? Jenny is now 8 years old, sabi ko kanina. So she's going to start with senior high school at age 16, which is 8 years from now. I hope you can see my cursor. And senior high school will end by age 18, or 2 years lang naman yung senior high school kasi grade 11 and grade 12. So considering the assumptions that we made a while ago, a total of 130,000 per school year using present value. So the future value of that is 215,000 per school year. And again, using tuition fee increase and inflation rates, the total education fund needed for Jenny Senior High School is 473,000. Okay? Now, going back to our options, ano ba ang gagawin ni Bobby and Grace for Jenny? So, magkano bang isi-save nila to get the same amount or the target fund? Or how much they will invest to get the target fund? Or totally forget about it and just be brave to face the amount in the future? Tingnan ngayon natin. Okay. So, this is the difference that it will make. Okay? So if you're going to save for it, You just need to save 4,900 or around 5,000 a month. Starting now, for you to have a savings of 473,000 for the education fund that you need. Or if you want to invest, no, you just need to invest 3,134 pesos per month to have a potential yield of 473,000. Or if you just want to go ahead and proceed with that in the future, so it's going to be 19,000 a month for that same amount of total expense. So you see here, ladies and gentlemen, just by looking at the numbers, no, and with our previous example, most especially, kasi college yun, you can already see how much money you would be able to save if you prepare for your education, for your child's education as early as possible. No? Eh kung mas maaga pa nga nag-prepare tong si Bobby at Grace, no? Kunwari, pin-prepare nila to, 2 years old pa lang si Jenny, eh magkano lang naman? 1,800 pesos a month lang ang kailangan mong i-invest to achieve the same quality of education for her. Although, syempre, lumaki yung education pa needed kasi mas matagal, kasi 14 years to go pa kung 2 years old siya nag-start, but still, the amount you need to invest is much, much smaller because you are maximizing the value of time. No? That is why investing is a great, great way to financially plan for your future. No? And that is what we as financial planners do for our clients, not just for education, but for all the other aspects of financial planning like retirement, tax planning, asset management, estate planning, etc., etc. Okay? So parents, I hope you get the value in this, no? So ano lang naman 'yan, depende kung saan mo gusto. So for example, gusto mong yun nga, like one example of mine, I have a client who's sending her daughter to Canada for college. So 2 million ang present value nun, no? So kung nag-prepare siya ng maaga, she would need 10 million for senior high school, no? And this is how it's going to look like. So you see the difference? Kung hindi ka nag-prepare in the future, you need to prepare for this month, for this amount every month. But if you prepare ahead of time, you just need to invest this much ahead of time. Okay? So again, all these are dependent on what are your goals and how much you want to allocate for your child's education. Okay, so let me see. Oh yeah, financial freedom. Yes, thank you, Jules. Oh, alam ko yata kung sino ka. Thank you. Okay, so now let us see, no? I don't think I have enough time for another example, but I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you get the point, no? So what are the things now that we can do? Okay, Miss Monina, we got your point na. So sige, we need to prepare talaga as early as possible. And again, I want to emphasize to all of you that one of the greatest purpose of our lives as parents is to take care of our children, no? Maski anong part ng Bible mo basahin yan, maski sa anong religion ang ina-attendan mo, this is one of God's most important purposes for us, no? So kaya kailangan nating paghandaan yan. So ano nga ba ang dapat nating gawin? Miss Monina, okay. So I'm ready to prepare for my son's education plan. So what are the options that you can offer, or what are the options that we can do for me to be able to achieve that? Kasi most of the time, alam na nga natin na kailangan natin mag-prepare. Meron ka ng goal, no? Alam mo na kung magkano ang kailangan mong mabuo in the future, 5 million, 10 million, 2 million, whatever amount, 500,000, no? But a lot of us, believe it or not, do not know and have no idea at all how to do it. I would say we Filipinos, we all just know saving or probably time deposit or probably, go into business, which is very risky. No, na after a while, logi ka naman, all these things. No? But a lot of us do not know from the beginning what to do about it. So let me just show you your options. Okay? So the first option, okay, ito na. So sabi ko na kay Dr. Ellen, okay, Doc, I'm going to present you some plans or, step by step, kung ano na yung approach na gagawin natin. And I want you to decide how you want to do it. So first of all is active investing. So what does active investing mean? You strategize your investment. So kung ikaw ay magaling ka naman sa stock market analysis or magaling ka sa investing in bonds and UITFs and etc. and you understand all these things and you have the time and the knowledge and the effort to manage your fund yourself and bantayan yung mga ups and downs of the market, then you can do active investing. Okay? But if you don't know anything about it, Dr. Ellen, this is not for you. Dr. Ellen told me that, well, I do have some knowledge about investing, but I don't have the time, Miss Munina. I am busy in the hospital. I cannot just sit in front of the computer and wait for news that would affect the economic performance of the stock market. Okay? So, active investing is not for me, Dr. Ellen said. Okay? So, I gave her another plan. So when I say I gave another plan, I actually have a worksheet that I show my client na, pag nag-mutual fund ka, so this is how it's going to look like. So if we invest this much into bonds or if we invest this much into the stock market, we are going to calculate for the standard deviation and we are going to calculate risk, etc., etc. It's a whole mathematical process. So hindi yan ganyan-ganyan lang. So anyway, so the second option is, Dr. Ellen, you can invest in mutual funds. Okay? What is a mutual fund? So again, that is another webinar altogether, which I have discussed in the past. I probably will be discussing that in the future again. Okay, so mutual funds are a pool of money from so many clients that we invest and diversify in different investment platforms. So, pwedeng nag-i-invest tayo sa stock market, nag-i-invest tayo sa bonds, pwedeng balance fund yan, government funds, etc., etc. So, this one, Dr. Ellen, you don't have to be an expert about it. You don't have to know the ins and outs of trading and active investing because with mutual funds, there is a fund manager who manages our money for us. And they are the experts. They know where to invest our money, how to maximize the potential yield of our money, depending on our goal and our time horizon. Uy, ganda yan, Miss Monina. Parang gusto ko yan. So, at least yan, I don't have to worry about how it's going to be up and down. I just want to know how much it's going to be 15 years down the road. Okay. So, you just have to dedicate and religiously invest into that fund every month, and then I will just give you, the statistical analysis and the annual report of how your investment is doing. Okay, so that's option number 2. But option number 3 is this. Dr. Ellen, you might want to consider this as well. Okay, and this is a variable unit linked plan. Okay, so what do we mean by that? A variable unit linked plan is a future-proof investment. Yung sinasabi ko sa kanina na kung sakaling may mangyari, your investment is insured. No? Guaranteed na merong money ano pangalan niya? Si Jacob sa kanyang education, kung ano man ang mangyari kay Dr. Ellen. Because this product is an insurance with investment. So, anong ibig sabihin ko nun? So, Dr. Ellen, because we have calculated that you need 5 million for Jacob's education, this plan that I have prepared for you will guarantee 5 million pesos for Jacob just in case something happens to you before you even finish your investment plan. So, for example, syempre si Doc, medyo exposed siya ngayon sa hospital, no? Dahil pumapasok siya, may mga COVID ngayon. So, for example, at the end of the year, may mangyari kay Doc, no? Knock on wood, mamatay si Dr. Ellen. Guaranteed, I give 5 million for Jacob's education. Pero, sana, Dr. Ellen, hindi mangyari sa'yo yon, di ba? I hope you live a long life. I hope you live a long and healthy life with your son, Jacob. And so this plan will ensure that 15 years down the road, Jacob will have 5 million pesos pa rin. Pero may safety net yan. Just in case, Dr. Ellen, talaga merong mangyaring hindi ko kasi masasabi what's going to happen in the future. Just in case that happens to you, Jacob will still receive that 5 million. Even if you have only started investing this year, and then something happens to you next year, at least Jacob has that. So that is what we call a future-proof education plan. Oh, Dr. Ellen is very happy. So she decided to go with that, and she decided to have the VUL. She decided to baba muna yung amount, di ba? Miss Munina, let's start with this one. And then let's see again next year if we can increase my investment on that. And so there is peace of mind for Dr. Ellen because she's a single parent. Jacob does not have a father. And so Jacob's future is somewhat secured. Okay? So again, I presented 3 options for the client for her to choose from, and she's the one who decided which one she would go for. Okay. Now, before I leave that topic, I just would like to share another story with you, and this is another real story. And this is actually my inspiration for tonight's discussion. I would like to dedicate this session to a friend of mine. She has a daughter who is 25 years old, and the daughter is, a typical beautiful, healthy, and full of life, daughter. And she actually has a young son. I think about 6 years old. No? So one of our financial advisors from the same company that I'm in has been trying to do financial planning for the child's education for many years. But it was very fortunate, and I am so glad that she finally decided to take that step earlier this year. So in fact, in February or March last year, her financial plan for her son took effect, and it was VUL again, a future-proof investment, which is an insurance with investment. So she wanted to invest for 5 million for her son's schooling, and so she got this VUL plan that was prepared for her. So in the middle of July, no, somewhere just last month, 3 weeks ago, I think. So my friend's daughter suffered from a headache. She went to the clinic of the company, and then after a few hours, went into coma. She looked very healthy. She looked like there's nothing wrong with her. And then the doctor diagnosed that she had meningitis or infection of the central nervous system. And unfortunately, she passed away last week. So I don't want to end this discussion with a very sad story, but I just want to share that with you because her son is guaranteed with an education because we already gave the 5 million education plan for her son because of her passing. Okay, so again, it was great, nevertheless, because she has fulfilled her duty as a parent for her son, no? Which is again one of the most important duties that God has given all of us parents. Okay, so nobody's asking questions, which is probably good because you have understood everything correctly, or that nobody's listening. But anyway, again, this webinar is recorded. It is being live streamed at our Facebook page, Usapang Manina. If you did not have time to listen fully tonight, you can always go back to our Facebook page and check out the recording and the session. So if you have any concerns, ladies and gentlemen, you can always check on us. Again, my name is Monina Evangelista. I am a financial planner. Here are my contact details. You can screenshot that screen right now, so that you have that on your file, so that you can contact us anytime you feel the urge to plan for your child's education. Okay, so thank you for those who are sending hearts and comments on Zoom, and also those who are on Facebook Live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I will stop share now so that you can see me. Thank you so much for watching this session tonight. I hope I was able to give you some insightful, concepts for tonight. And that is all that I can do for now, is to open up your minds about these things. But I can do more for you in the future. But of course, all these things can only start if you take action. So please think about all these things that I have just discussed, and you are expected to do something about it. Okay? Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a great evening. Okay, I made it on time this time. I promise you that this is just going to be 1 hour session, and we finished in under 1 hour. So again, thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Money Na TV, so that every time that we have a new video and a new discussion, you can immediately watch. And oo nga, bitin nga. Sabi nga, may nag-comment, bitin nga. Well, ganun talaga. Kailangan, tayo, full of substance, pero maigsi lang ang time. Because I'm sure all of you have other things to do, and some of you have not had dinner yet, perhaps. Okay? So again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Money Na TV. Money Na. And please like our Facebook page, Usapang Money Na, so that every time there is an announcement about all the things financial that we want to share with all of you, then you would be immediately notified about it. Thank you again, everyone. And I thank the Lord for giving us all this opportunity to be together today, and for me to be able to express all these thoughts to all of you. I thank the Lord that He was able to overwrite my presentation for tonight, and hopefully you all gained some knowledge out of it. All right. Thank you again. Good night, everyone. God bless. And I will see you on our next session. Bye.